Hello, my name is Jalise. Welcome now to the part 2 video of Assassin's Creed Origins vs. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And let me do a quick recap of part 1. Part 1. Who was beating who? For the score is now Assassin's Creed Syndicate 2 to Assassin's Creed Origins 3. So Assassin's Creed Origins is beating Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So Assassin's Creed Origins, it was beating a Syndicate in three parts. It beat them in customization. They had a better customization system, a better combat system, and a better overall map. While Syndicate beat, to me, Origins in the music department, and also the game menu, the main menu, the map design, and when I mean the map design, I mean the actual map design, and also the database, since Assassin's Creed Origins basically didn't have a freaking database. So those are just starting off points. Now let's going off to part 2, which is the other 5 categories who ultimately decide which one is the better game and which one is truly the best next-gen Assassin's Creed game. So, number 5, we're going to go to do side missions. Side missions for Assassin's Creed Origins and Syndicate. This is where or a lot of people are going to hate me with. In Assassin's Creed Origins, you had, to me, the best things about Assassin's Creed Origins was the gladiator arena. That was a lot of fun. The hunting stuff, even though it was very simple and all that stuff, was still very cool. And I also like the hunting down the elephants, ones that are attacking you, and also the those I forgot what they're called, but these bounty hunters that are trying to kill you. They're basically like bounty hunters, since you are the last Magi. But I did not enjoy the underwater little places. I did not enjoy none of the bandit forts, really, or bandit camps, and I especially did not like the tombs. Now, why am I saying like that? One, because it's very repetitive, and because the main reason why the side missions failed in this game is because there was no objectives. You could do any game, any style. It wasn't like, okay, beat this under 4 minutes, beat this under 2 minutes. Or like, only kill these 2 certain individuals without being seen. It had none of that stuff. You could go in combat, you could go in stealthy-wise. It gives you the free option to, but when you do that, it just gets very repetitive. And you have over like 50,000, you have over 50 forts in this entire or 50 bandit camps. You take one out, you take another of them out. It's different in the forts, in the big like cities and all that stuff. It's a lot more entertaining. It's a lot more fun to play because there's so many different combinations you could kill off enemies and they come at you. But if people just go and charge in, they don't have to do that. I mean, you could just go into combat. There's no thing where it just says where you have to do something specifically for this stuff or this stuff. The tombs were very repetitive. The Assassin's Creed tombs in this game was very repetitive. You knew how to solve one, you knew how to solve all 10 of them. Which was very ridiculous. To me, the tombs were very disappointing. The underwater stuff, you just go search underwater and get something up. Nothing attacked you, no animals attacked you. I think maybe one animal attacked you. The side missions, and the side missions were very bland. It's either rescue or free prisoners. Now, Syndicate, on their hand, they had carriages, just like carriages over Assassin's Creed Origins, chariot racing. You had carriages, you had the money fights, you had the boat stuff, you had the gang strongholds, you had the bounty hunter, you had the child liberations, you had the murder mystery ones, you had the WW, you go to World War I for some cases, and overall, that was a lot more development, a lot more interesting. And because they have objectives like only kill certain individuals, and it was very challenging, and people say it's repetitive, it's not really that repetitive. To me, it's very. To me, what separates this Syndicate from Origins is because of the objectives help the game be better. If you had to beat this thing in under 2 minutes, you had to beat it under 2 minutes. You were only supposed to kill 2 of them with guns. You had to kill only 2 of them with guns. They give you objectives to make it more challenging, to make it more fun. With Origins, it just wasn't there. If they had objectives toward this game, like beat this under 4 minutes or beat this under 2 minutes, Origins would definitely be number 1 for the side missions on this one. But to me, Syndicate just developed these a lot better, and it was, since objectives helped around, and overall they used it to the best of their expense. So, the side missions, I'm going to give to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Sue me. Now, the 4th category is side characters. Here's the thing with Assassin's Creed Origins side characters. They basically do not exist. Other than Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, and that one guy that works for Cleopatra. Bayek and Aya are just there. I mean, who are we going to really count as their brotherhood? Aya's cousin? He's hardly there. These members, the gladiator woman that was once great friends with with Bayek from Siwa. Siwa is Bayek's best friend from Siwa, the old lady. They're barely there for under 10 minutes. They don't get no time at all for any of these side characters. And even though you play side missions, even though in some cases you could play side missions for them, there's just like one mission you could complete that in like 5-10 seconds, and they're not really interacting with you. Side characters are basically non-existent in this video game. Unlike in Syndicate, Origins didn't really have side characters that integrated with the story that much, or used them well, or basically non-existent other than Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, and that one guy that Cleopatra was a bodyguard for. But Syndicate, every single side character was connected to a side mission. You had Claire, the little girl who helped the child liberation missions. You had Charles Dickens, Charles Darwin. You had Karl Marx. You had Dulip Scene, Queen Victoria when you finished the game. You had the murder mystery ones with that little kid, Arthur Conan Doyle. And you had a whole bunch of characters that were integrated with the side content. And those side characters were very much a part of the main character storylines. So they integrated a lot of these side characters into their side missions and the main story missions, and they made it better. So side characters and side missions were a great part of Syndicate. They connected everything together. It was, when you have great side characters, you have great side missions. When you don't have no side characters, you don't really have a lot of good side missions that are basically repetitive. So Assassin's Creed Syndicate beats Origins again. It is now, what, it's 3-4? You have still 3 more categories. So, let's go now to the third category, which is the villains. The villains of Assassin's Creed Origins are basically just like 3 different factions. You have like 12 different villains that you get to really see. And each one has their own reason why they're doing what they're doing. One of them wants to create a city that's going to be bountiful and going to be plentiful for the people of Egypt to like kill some goods for the greater good. And you have some of them that just want the thing to be all evil. These Order of the Ancients or Templars just want this thing to be all evil. I remember one of the few characters, the Hyena Girl, who basically wanted to use the Templars or Order of the Ancients to basically resurrect her daughter from the dead. That was an interesting story right there, but again, the Order of the Ancients is just like 12 different individuals with 12 different ideas and things they want to do differently. It's not an organization, it's just 12 different people who are in a group together, but they don't really have a goal officially all together. They just have things for their own purposes. They're not an organization, they are a terrible organization. This is an origin, apparently, of the Templars before they were Templars. They were the Order of the Ancients, and they are completely misused. If I could describe one link to describe how bad these villains are, go to watch how Bayek son was killed off. See that 5-minute clip of them pressuring Bayek to open up the tomb real quick, or we kill your son. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. Fast pace, rushing just to get the main villains all evil and bloodthirsty. Now, Syndicate, the villains in this one, they're the mustache twirl of a villain named Crawford Starrick, and you have Lucy Dorn, and she is, those two characters right there just want to have the piece of Venus to control London. They're a simple little storyline. They just want control. Mustache twirl of a villain, just Hollywood style, that I'm evil for the sake of being evil, but he just wants control of Egypt. At least these characters and this organization and the villains for the Templars are organized, they know what they want, and they're going to succeed by it, and they're united in this front. Granted, one other character named Roth, I believe his name, I forgot his name, but he was an interesting character and villain, because he was a guy that just said, why not? Why not just do this? Why not just do that? He was a villain because he was a crazy lunatic. And granted, he was in the Templar Order Society, but he's a very mild case. Out of like all 8 characters, villains that you kill off, he's the one that's not totally devoted to the Templar Order. He's devoted to more chaos and fun, and to feel alive. While Origins villains are just basically 12 different characters, 12 different ideas. It's very, very stupid in my opinion, and I do not like what they did with the villains in Origins. While in Syndicate, I did not like the whole simple-mindedness of just a mustache twirler or villain. At least it made sense. and it was a simple story, and the structure was well. So the villains win this again. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So what's next? We got the main characters. The main characters for Assassin's Creed Syndicate is Jacob and Evie Fry. Jacob is the guy that prefers to do the gang stronghold. He likes the combat system. He likes to just go on straight on combat. He doesn't really care about the assassin rules. Technically, he's not even really an assassin in some cases. He's just a dickheaded little guy that just wants to do the thing he wants to do, and he doesn't care. Evie, on the other hand, who balances her brother in his quick temperament, eases him into a calm nature. She's more like into the assassin rules of like who she wants to be. She wants to basically find a piece of Eden so the Templars don't get their hands on it. They each have different goals, both as brother and sister, and when they're apart from each other, they're not as great. Evie's not as free as she wants to be, Jacob's not as controlled as he should be, and when they're together, they're an awesome, great pairing. So the main characters of Assassin's Creed Syndicate are pretty dang good. Now, Origin's main character is Bayek, and I love Bayek more than both Evie and Jacob, and he's a first father figure for the Assassin's Creed. Well, not father figure, but he was a father in Assassin's Creed. Not every single assassin had children during this time. This is his story of him losing his son to this Order of the Ancients, and he's getting revenge. But during this time, he's not walling around like Connor and being all mean and gruffy. Bayek is still a guy who's like, he has a life in him still. There's still a light in him, but it's very diminished, and every single time he thinks about the past, you could tell he's a sad man. And when he triggered all his friends, he's smiling happy, but it's a sad smile. He's like the sad clown that's still trying to be there for people, try to be there for everybody. He's still a battered, hardened man. And I love Bayek's character. And I would have given Origins the win right here for main character, but I'm not. Because why? We could not play his wife, Aya. And don't give me that shit that we could play her for like 2 dang missions. What, on a ship? I don't need her on a ship. Why not play her and Bayek? She lost a child too. She was a parent. She lost a child. She kills some of the Templars along with Bayek. We play her at the end to kill a Templar. Why not play her for side stuff? If she's not gonna be the main character, okay. Why don't you let us switch like how we did with Jacob and Evie in Syndicate? Why not switch them around? No, we don't get to do that. We don't get to switch these characters around. And for people who say that Jacob took more screen time than Evie in the video game in Syndicate, at least with Evie, you could, at least with Syndicate, you could change from Jacob to Evie, and then Evie could you just go around and do all the side missions. And there was so much side missions in that video game, it took most of the screen time away from Jacob. And the DLC is mostly her. Aya, what's her going to be? Her DLC of killing Cleopatra? Yeah, we kind of guessed that, but really, that's your idea of a main character? We couldn't play her during the beginning of the game? Along with Bayek? Why not? Husband and wife. Continue to do the same thing as you did in Syndicate. They did not, so I'm going to say this. Bayek is better than Jacob and Evie, for sure. But, since Assassin's Creed Origins decided to not put Bayek and Aya together as the 2 main characters, I'm going to put this score to Syndicate. Syndicate gets it because they at least had 2 main characters, not 2 different storylines, but 2 characters, male and female, brother and sister, while Assassin's Creed Origins, for some odd reason, didn't want to do Aya. Why not, as a second main character? Again, they both lost a child, husband and wife, killing Templars. I would love to do that. No, we're just Bayek. Come on. So yeah, main characters, Syndicate. And the last category is none other than the story. Assassin's Creed's Origins really should have been called Assassin's Creed Empire because it's not an origin story. Never do Bayek and Aya ever really interact with any people of the Assassins. And Assassins were actually around during this time. They were called the Hidden Ones. So even if their origin story is basically Deadpool when he gets transformed and they decide to put the costume on and that's it. That's basically it. That's the best example I could give for an origin story for Assassin's Creed Origins. It's not an origin story. Bayek he doesn't interact with nobody from this Brotherhood of the Hidden Ones. We get that maybe Bayek and Aya started off the Brotherhood better, they organized it better, but you don't see interactions with that. It's based. This game is basically a revenge story. It's Bayek and I getting revenge on the people that killed her child, and helping Cleopatra rise to power. None of it is integrated to actually trying to build a brotherhood up. None of it. I mean, it would be one thing if they gave us something, but they barely gave us like 10 minutes. This is not an origin story. I'm sorry, and this is the point. It's not an origin story. This is like the beginning before the origin. To me, it's not an origin story. It's just not. Now, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is basically one simple thing for the storyline. It's either like Crawford Starrick and Crawford is in control of London. The Templars have control over London, and now it's up to Jacob and Eva Fry, the assassins, to liberate London from the Templars. It's a simple story. Jacob and Eva are going to London to free London from the Templar control. Simple story, done easy with. Crawford Starrick wants a piece of Eden. Eva and Jacob are trying to stop him. They do. Simple story. A simple story, and yet it's the better one. Assassin's Creed Origins is not an origin story. It's a revenge story. It's a revenge of the loved ones, again. But it's a messed up plot. It's a messed up storyline. And to say it's an origin, it's not an origin. The Assassins already existed. The Templars already existed. You didn't start off a brotherhood. Maybe you made better rules and better to do all this stuff. But that comes in at the end of the game in the last 5 minutes. They don't interact with other people of the Assassin Order. They don't. And there's this one moment when Cleopatra's no longer with the Hidden Ones, and Bayek says, "We will form our own organization. We are strong together." And there's this room full of people that I only recognize one, Aya's cousin, who we only had like 3 minutes of screen time with. Of an entire freaking game. This is not an origin story. So the story of Assassin's Creed Origins is a failure to me. I love the game. I gave it a B+. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I'm giving it an A-. So, this video could basically have been about why Assassin's Creed Syndicate is better than Origins. I try to make it fair. Unity versus Origins. Unity versus Origins. Syndicate versus Origins. A 10-step process for the map design, music, combat system, customization, side missions, side characters, villains, main characters, to now the story. And as you can see, my personal opinion, Syndicate is better than Origins, and I gave you a thorough process of why it was. This was part 2, and I told you all that this video was going to be 10 times longer than part 1. So let me know what y'all think, everyone. Subscribe if you like, disagree on Unbound, and comment down below. Let me know. Respect my opinion, I respect yours. What do you think I did the right choice? You think Syndicate is better than Origins? What categories do you think I missed? What categories do you think I failed in? Let me know what y'all think, everyone. I'm Jalise signing off for you to everybody. Bye.